feel like God done for real blessed me, for real.
That's true.
Like, he done took his time on me, like really blessed me, like gave me all the gifts that I can even imagine.
Right.
So I'm like, if I don't do my part, like to the fullest that I can do it, I'm talking about work hard,
Right.
like give it everything I got, I feel like I'm cheating him. I feel like I'm letting him down, like I'm cheating him. If I don't develop all the gifts he done given me into like elite skills and be one of the best, I'm cheating.
Hey guys, welcome back to Q's Hot Takes. On today's show, I got a very special guest. For the first time, I got my guy Q joining the show. So, bro, how you doing today?
Doing good, bro. Hey, another day seen and not viewed, so
Yes, sir. I feel you on that. So we're gonna preview all the big NFL games for this weekend, including Baltimore and Buffalo. That's gonna be our game of the week. And also, Q is unfortunately he's a Commanders fan, so we got Commanders Cowboys. We're gonna get into that very shortly. So that may get heated. Who knows? But we're going to start out with the Thursday night game tomorrow. This should be a good one. It has the potential to be an offensive shootout between the Miami Dolphins and the Cincinnati Bengals. So the Dolphins are one of our two remaining undefeated teams. I know nobody saw that coming. And Tyreek Hill says he owes Eli Apple. And if you're a Bengals fan, I think you should be very concerned because we know Eli Apple is usually burnt toast. So Q, how do you see this Thursday night game playing out? The Bengals are going to be debuting their all white uniforms. Those things are sweet. So how do you think this matchup is going to play out?
yeah, the Dolphins undefeated right now, and I think they're gonna stay that way. That Bengals offensive line, it ain't showed no progress to me over these first 3 weeks. And then I just don't think their secondary can hold up with those two gunners they got up there. And then you got, the tight end coming across, in the middle or whatever it is. I just think the Dolphins are going to be too much. That style of defense they play too, where they have 7, 8 guys just standing there. You never know who coming and who going.
Exactly.
So I think Joe Burrow kind of going to be running all night for his life trying to figure out what's going on. I don't think it's going to be close, honestly. So
wow.
I think the Dolphins win and win convincingly, for real.
Yeah, I wanted to take the Bengals so bad because they're going to be wearing those nice uniforms, like I said, but I think they're going to catch an L in those all white uniforms.
Yeah.
And like you said, I just don't think their secondary is going to be able to deal with Waddle and Tyreek. I just think that's going to be hard for them to deal with. They're going to have to get pressure on Tua because I think that's the only way they're going to be able to slow down the Dolphins' offense. And I think Melvin Ingram and that front seven, they're really good. And then their secondary is Xavier Howard. I'm looking forward to him and Jamar Chase. That's gonna be
Jamar Chase, that's gonna be nice.
Yeah, that's gonna be a battle. But I think the Dolphins will find a way to win late. They seem to love to get it to the fourth quarter, and that's when they seem to play their best ball. So I got the Dolphins in that one. And then to kick off our Sunday slate, we'll have our first international game. It's the Minnesota Vikings taking on the New Orleans Saints over in London. So I think the Vikings are going to win this one. I don't know what is going on with the Saints offense. Jameis just hasn't looked good so far this season. And he's going to need to look good against that Vikings offense who can put up numbers when Kirk Cousins is, making the right reads and not throwing it to the opposing team. I think this could be a lower scoring game because the Saints have a good defense and their defense usually keeps them in games. But I just can't put any trust in Jameis right now with the way he's playing. But I expect him to I expect Olave to put up another 100 yards potentially. But I think the Vikings are going to pull out a very close game to start our Sunday slate. How do you see this one playing out, bro?
I see it low scoring too. I kind of like the Saints though.
Okay.
I just don't as much as I don't trust Jameis, I don't trust Kirk more. Right. So we've seen what a nice secondary can do to him, and the Saints do have a nice secondary when they're locked in, right? So I feel like they're gonna be locked in. I'm just like you. I think it's gonna be low scoring, like a 17-14 type deal, something whatever. So I just don't see either of those offenses putting up too many points. Like you said, just because the quarterbacks have been struggling so much. So a 17-14 type deal. I like the Saints by 3.
Yeah, I could see something like that. Our next one is the Cleveland Browns visiting the Atlanta Falcons. I think Cleveland. I think they're going to stick to their formula that they've had the first couple weeks of the season. They're going to try to run the air out of the ball, limit Jacoby Brissett's participation in the game. And the Falcons, I don't consider them to have a good defense. So I think if you have Nick Chubb in fantasy, you're going to be very happy this week because I see him getting close to I see him getting close to 200 yards rushing this week, and I think they'll control the clock and they'll move the ball up and down the field against the Falcons. The Browns defense hasn't looked great this season, so the Falcons, with Drake London and Kyle Pitts and all the weapons they have on offense, it may turn into a high scoring game. But I expect the Browns to really limit their possessions and Nick Chubb to really dominate this game. I got the Browns in that one. How about you?
Yeah, yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I think the Falcons will be able to put up some points just because of the talent that they have. Pitts is generational talent. Um, Drake London is a freak, so I think they'll have an opportunity to put up some points. But like you said, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, that monster. Um, like you said, I think they might combine for about 300 yards in that game. Honestly and truly, I can see something like that going crazy. So definitely got the Browns.
Yes, sir. And I want to send my thoughts and prayers out to Miles Garrett. That was just scary the other day. He was trying to avoid an animal in the street, and his car flipped several times.
Yeah.
If you see the pictures of his car, I'm just thank God he's still alive because his car was wrecked total. So praying for him. I don't know if he'll play this week. Looking at the way his car was, I don't expect him to, but you never know. Miles Garrett is superhuman, so we
Yeah.
shall see. Now to the game that both of us are really going to be looking forward to this weekend. It's going to be a lot of trash talk going on Sunday with this one. Your Washington Commanders are going to Dallas. And I personally don't expect this to be close. With the way y'all looked last Sunday, I'm going off the way y'all looked last week. I expect y'all to look much better this week, hopefully. But I found this out on Twitter today. The Cowboys lead the league in sacks with 13, and your Commanders have given up the most sacks in the league with 15 sacks. None of those took place last week against a very good Eagles defense. They sacked Carson Wentz 4 times in the first quarter last week. That was really bad. So considering how bad your offensive line is, your defense isn't that great. Obviously, your secondary is very questionable. Um, they give up a lot of points, yards. So I have to take my Cowboys here. I just think the defense they're going to eat. Uh, Micah's going to say his grace. He's going to have a nice brunch Sunday at 1 o'clock. He's going to get out there Carson Wentz a few times, and I don't think this will be close like the last couple of times y'all have took a visit to Dallas. It hasn't been pretty, and I don't think it's going to be pretty Sunday. I don't know if Dak is going to play. I don't think we need him to. I think he can take another week off. Cooper Rush can beat the Commanders if we're being honest. If we got CD, Noah Brown, and we can keep a nice balance like we've had, where our run game has went over 100 yards the last couple of weeks. I think that bodes well for us. And hopefully we start Jason Peters at left guard because he was opening up some holes, him and Tyler Smith. So I'm taking my Cowboys. I can't wait to see how you think this game is going to play out. Considering your team had -1 yards at one point during that game last week.
Right.
So I can't wait to hear this.
So what I want to say about that Philly game, people don't realize that Philly has a defensive line of 6 or 7 guys deep, right?
Yes, very
So we're never going to see, until we see Philly, we're not going to see a defensive line like that again, right? So for me, I think we'll have a plan in place to where we get more quick stuff going, things of that sort. And I personally think I pick us to win that game. I'm picking us to beat y'all. Simply because it's not. I feel like this. If Dak was playing, it depends. I don't think Dak is going to play, right? I think it's all smoke, right? If Dak was playing, I would feel okay, all right. But Cooper Rush isn't. He hasn't exploded like passing the ball.
Yeah.
So I don't think, like, I'm not saying he's going to go in there throwing 300 or 400 yards. I don't think he's going to do that, right? So therefore, I think it'll be a closer game than a lot of people are expecting. and I expect us to make a play late that decides the game. I think Carson Wentz is going to bounce back from that performance that he had against the Eagles. Our offense is too talented to play the way that we played last game. So I think we definitely bounce back from that. We get some more quick stuff going. We get our guys, we get our playmakers the ball and let them make moves. And then as far as, you know what I'm saying, y'all and y'all offense, I'm gonna be honest, the only person on your offense that scares me is CeeDee Lamb. Like, you know, so it's like I feel like he's that guy that you have to take away. If Noah Brown goes off, he gets off, but you can't let CeeDee get going, because when CeeDee get going, that's dangerous, right?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of one of those things where it's like somebody else can be this, but not this guy. So I think we kind of gonna try to take that away. And yeah, man, I don't see it being like too crazy. I think it'll be in the 20s, like somewhere in that range. I don't think y'all gonna get in there to that 30, 40, just because I don't see Cooper Rush throwing for like 300 and 400 yards. In the games we lost, Jared Goff threw for 3-something, and Jalen Hurts last week, I think he threw for 3-something, right? And I just don't think that is going to happen with Cooper Rush. I don't think your play callers are going to allow him to drop back and throw 40 and 35 passes like those guys have been throwing on us. So I think y'all will be more balanced. Y'all might rush for a good amount of them. I think Zeke and Pollard, especially Pollard. If there's one person I like on y'all team, it's Pollard. I like that guy. So like he's gonna. I feel like he's gonna, you know, say have his. He's gonna have his moments in the game where he has those runs and things of that sort. But I think it's going to be a good game. Of course, I'm picking us to win. But you about to get me going here and say y'all was going to win the game, Keith.
Oh,
I don't know what you thought now. You can say I win the game. So I'm riding with my guys, but I think we're going to win. You say rivalry games are always semi-close. You know, even last year when we played and y'all were up like 24 at one point, we came back and made it like a 7-point game with like 4 minutes to go, and y'all ended up winning by 7. So like it's always something crazy that happens in these Dallas and Washington games. So I feel like we in for another treat for real.
I mean, we shall see. I mean, I do agree with you. I don't think it's gonna get like the game when we played in Dallas when it was 56-14, because I don't think we'll put up those type of numbers with Cooper Rush at quarterback. But I think the key is we're gonna have to get pressure on Carson Wentz, because, like you said, y'all do have a really good receiving core. It really hurts me and pains me to even say something positive about your team, but Terry McLaurin is really good. He's the truth, except for when he's playing Trayvon Diggs. You know what Diggs did to him last year. We don't have to go there.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
we don't have to go there. I mean,
we had Beer Boy throwing the ball, man. We gonna see what's up. We gonna see.
2 games, I think he had 3 catches. I think
Beer Boy can't pass. Beer Boy cannot pass.
Micah ruined
but
him.
I get that.
He was never the same after Micah hit him. Micah blew him up that time in Washington. He was never the same after that.
Never the same. Never the same after that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Y'all gonna have to get the ball out quick, because you know Micah's coming. And I do agree that our offense, normally we don't scare people with anybody outside of CeeDee Lamb. I don't know if Michael Gallup is going to come back this week. I personally would give him another week to, recover. You don't want to rush him back too early, because he is coming off a complete tear of his ACL. But I mean, we got some weapons on offense. Our tight ends, Ferguson, Hendershot. We got Zeke and Pollard, that nice 1-2 punch. Noah Brown, him and Cooper Rush, because they were on the practice
squad.
Doing what the other team does in practice. So that's why they have such a great connection. So I don't think it's gonna, get crazy like last year when y'all came to Dallas, unless Dak plays. Now, if Dak plays, we might put 60 on y'all. If I'm being honest, if Dak plays, but we shall see. That's gonna be a 1:00 game. Since the Panthers are the 4:25, I think they play at 4:05. So hopefully here in North Carolina they show that game.
Yeah, we should.
When the Panthers play at 4, they don't show a game. But since it's such a big game, like Cowboys, Commanders, you got to show that here in North Carolina. So hopefully we shall see. Moving on to our next game, that was a fun one. But Seattle Seahawks, they're going to visit the Detroit Lions. So I took Detroit here because Detroit, they have surprised me this year. They've looked really good. Year 2 under Dan Campbell. Now, they do struggle to kind of close games. I think that's where they're going to take the next step. because they were up big against y'all, and then they I thought they were about to let y'all come back. I was like, no
Mm.
way they're about to let y'all come back. And then they were up 10 on Minnesota last week, and they couldn't finish. So I think this is one of the few games on their schedule where they should be the favorite and they should win. So I think they got to capitalize on this, and I think they'll win at home. They looked really good the last time they were at home against y'all. They just came on fire in that first half. I was like,
Yeah,
my goodness, Jared Goff was slinging it.
yeah.
So I don't have much faith in Geno Smith, if I'm being honest. He looked good week one, but after that he came back to reality. I'm taking the Lions here. I think they'll win at home, and I think they'll be 2-1 at home after this week. So how do you feel about this game, bro?
Yeah, I like that too. Definitely taking the Lions. We've realized we watch a lot of sports, but the Lions lost a lot of close games last year, like 7-3. So they weren't like as bad as their record stated. And then when you add, Aiden Hutchinson to the mix at defensive end, that defense can get scary. Jeff Okuda's back and he's healthy, he's balling. Um, I'm excited for the Lions. They're definitely going to win. And then at some point in time, they're going to get Jameson Williams back. So
That's
that's
gonna be
going to add
scary.
another dimension to the offense. Right. So people need to be worried about the Lions, man. They can make some noise like now. So I'm definitely taking the Lions. Gino had that one game, and that's it. It's a reason why he's been a backup. So
Yeah, when they get him back, you're going to have to play two deep safeties because they're
I'm
going
telling
to be
you,
straight bombs away when he gets back.
I'm telling you.
It's crazy how fast he is. It's scary. Next we got the Tennessee Titans visiting the Indianapolis Colts. Um, both these teams haven't really looked great to start this season. I think this game could take 2 hours, honestly, because I think both teams
Yeah,
are going to lean on their star running backs. The Titans, they're going to lean on Derrick Henry because Ryan Tannehill, as we've seen when he plays good teams, he doesn't look great like he
right.
like we saw against Buffalo. That was just pitiful. But I took the Colts here. If I were them, I would lean on Jonathan Taylor. I don't know what's going on with Matt Ryan this year, but he hasn't looked great. Looked like he may be nearing the end of his career, if we're being honest. He hasn't looked great this year. I will lean on Jonathan Taylor. They have a great defense, so I expect this game to be like their game last week, like a 17-20 type of game. Two good defenses. Uh, I just think that they're going to win this. I don't trust Ryan Tannehill, and I think the Colts they find a way to win a close divisional game at home. How about you?
Whew. Uh, I'm gonna take the Colts just simply because they're coming off that win against Kansas City this past week, right?
Yeah, that
So I
was
think they
big.
kind of can find something to build on. Um, the Titans, I think they're just so one dimensional even more now with just having King Henry back there. Um, I don't trust Tannehill, so don't trust anything they got going on there. So I think the Colts kind of start to get rolling right here and kind of figure themselves out, see what their identity is, which is feed Jonathan Taylor the ball, play action, things of that sort. So I think they kind of figure it out a little more this week. So definitely taking the Colts.
Yes, indeed, and I think the Titans. I don't think they'll be, relevant and a threat until they turn the keys over to Malik Willis because he's dynamic. I
Yeah,
think him and King Henry. I think that could be a scary duo once they turn the offense over to him. So we shall see when that happens.
right.
Um, Next, we have the Chicago Bears visiting the New York Giants. I took the Bears here.
Ooh,
As we saw last week, Monday night, the Giants aren't very good. They have a lot of flaws. They don't have a quarterback. Their receiving core could use some work. Their offensive line, I think, is just they have no pride because they were just letting the Cowboys run, get right to Daniel Jones. As soon as he hiked the ball, they were on him. Uh, the way the Bears have been running the ball this year, I think is going to cause the Giants some problems. The Cowboys almost got 200 yards the other night against them. Their defense just doesn't look the same without Leonard Williams in the middle of that defense. He has a sprained MCL, so I think he's going to be out a while with that sprained MCL. And I just
right.
don't think they're able to generate the pressure that they would when he's in the game. So as we see the Bears, they don't have much trust in Justin Fields because they run the ball like 85% of the time. So I think they're going to lean on their run game. This is going to be a really ugly, low-scoring game, and I think the Bears and their running game win this one. How do you see this one playing out?
This is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt. I'm taking the Giants.
Oh wow!
That hurt. That hurt. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Danny Dimes. He lived up to his name last week. I didn't think he was really throwing dimes, and his receivers were just making it hard for him. I think they kind of want to bounce back to show people that the 2-0 start wasn't fluke. So I think they're definitely going to look into some other stuff to kind of figure some ways out to kind of get going a little bit better. But like you said, it's kind of like with the Bears. I watched it once. The defense isn't really that great, so I don't think they're kind of gonna make things really uncomfortable for Daniel Jones. So I like the Giants in this game. I like them by like 10.
10. Oh wow. Yeah, but I just feel bad for Brian Daboll. He inherited a mess. It's going to take a
Yeah.
while for them to really, turn back into the Giants when they were, going to Super Bowls, making deep playoff runs. They have some great pieces, but I think they need a quarterback, and they just need to get a couple receivers. Unfortunately, Sterling Shepard is hurt again. He just can't seem to catch a break. He just tore his Achilles in December, and now his ACL. So my God, just gonna pray for him and his mental health because I know that's gonna take a toll on him. Just those injuries back to back like that, and these are some serious injuries.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, this one is gonna hurt as well. But we got the Jacksonville Jaguars visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. I normally don't like to say nice things about my rivals, especially this one because their fans are just obnoxious and they're just they can be a lot sometimes. But I think the Eagles will win this game. Obviously, the Jaguars, they look much better this year. They finally have a coach and look like Trevor Lawrence is really starting to figure things out. He looked really good last week at the Chargers. They made a statement smacking the Chargers by 28. I know Justin Herbert wasn't healthy, but that still is impressive how they went
Mm-hmm.
on the road. Even though the Chargers don't really have a home field advantage like some teams do, that still was impressive. You go on the road, beat somebody by like the Chargers by 28. That caught my eye, but the way Jalen Hurts is playing right now and this Eagles offense, and like you mentioned earlier, their defensive line is so deep and they just have a really good defense. It really hurts me to say that, but I have to be honest here. They have a really good defense. Jalen Hurts, he's really doing a great job throwing the ball, and we obviously know he's dangerous with his legs. So I'm taking the Eagles here. Jacksonville, I know they had a big road win last week, but I don't expect them to go into Philly and win. Now, if they do, I'll be shocked, but I
Mm-hmm.
just don't see it. I think the Eagles will be undefeated when they play the Cowboys on October 16th, and I think the Cowboys hand them their first L. But we'll get there later on. But I do have Philly winning this week. How about you, bro?
Duval. That's
Oh,
all I'm gonna say. I'm not saying nothing else nice about the Eagles. I said uh, I like the Jags. I
oh,
think they're young and they're hungry.
oh yeah, that's true.
I feel like that letdown game from the Eagles is coming. If you've seen a trend with them, they kind of like to jump out early and then they like to get complacent, right? So even with the game against us, they had 24 in the first half and they didn't score again.
That was
So it's kind
crazy.
of one of those things where they get comfortable, and there's gonna be a point where you can't flip that on and off switch like right back on like that. So I think they're going to see that, and I think Jacksonville has the tools to do that. They have a strong running game with ETN back, and I think Robinson is his name is there.
Oh
Um,
yeah, Robinson,
yeah,
James Robinson. Yeah.
yeah, they got the number one overall. I think he's the number one overall pick. Saying on defensive end, the guy from Georgia, Walker. They got some playmakers in the secondary, so I think they can. I think they're going to steal it. I think they're going to keep it close. Young, hungry team, and they're going to find a way to grind out a win up there.
Yeah, it seems like under Doug Peterson, they kind of got their swagger back, and they're young, like you said, and they're playing with nothing to lose. So
Yeah.
this is a dangerous game for the Eagles. So They better be careful because I noticed when they got a big against the Vikings, they kind of let off the gas as well. So that's something they need to address. Next game is the New York Jets visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Jets, they're going to get Zach Wilson back this week. So maybe with all their young receivers that they have a really talented offense. Garrett Wilson, um, what's his name? Eli Mitchell, I think that's his name. They have some really
Yeah.
talented receivers in New York. But I think the Steelers, they really need a win. And I think they find a way to win a close game at home. I don't know how, but I just feel like the Steelers are going to find a way to win at home. Because they got some tough games coming up. So this is a game at home. I just think they're going to find a way to win. Mike Tomlin's going to have his team ready. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm taking the Steelers. I just can't see them losing again.
I gotta disagree with you, man. I gotta go with the Jets.
Okay.
Simple being, I just don't trust the Steelers quarterback. And I feel like the Jets definitely have a underrated defense that people aren't talking about. With Sauce out there, he cocky and confident, and with
Yes,
reason.
sir.
He's been playing well. Like you said, on the offensive end with Garrett Wilson, your boy, I think what's his name? I think like I would say his name like Brees Hall or something like that. I think he
Yeah,
plays
Brees
for them.
Hall. Yeah, he's cold.
They got another running back over there, if I'm not mistaken.
Michael Carter.
Michael Carter.
Yeah, Carolina.
Your boy from Carolina. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they definitely they got something for him, and I just don't trust the guy that the Steelers got from Carolina. I don't trust him at quarterback.
Yeah, I think this until the Steelers turn the keys over to Kenny Pickett, I think they're going to be held back. I have noticed without T.J. Watt, they don't generate the same pressure on defense, and that's crazy how it's such a drop off without him in the game. So I don't know when his contract is up, but he's going to get the bag because they don't win often without him, and their defense just looks horrible without him. So that's going to be troublesome for them, especially with all the weapons that the Jets have. Next is our game of the week. This is going to be probably one of our better games of week 4. It's going to be the Buffalo Bills visiting the Baltimore Ravens. Man, this game is just going to be epic. Lamar Jackson became the first player with 3 touchdown passes and 100 rushing yards in back-to-back games. He has been balling. The Ravens have messed up because his contract is probably going to get near 300 million guaranteed if he keeps playing like he is. And that's why I took the Ravens because Lamar. I mean, just the way he's playing right now is crazy. You can tell he's on a mission. And the Bills they're really depleted on defense and offense. They got a lot of injuries. I just don't think they can go into Baltimore and beat the Ravens, beat up like they are. They kind of let one slip away last week. They were letting the Dolphins hang around until the fourth quarter, and then the Dolphins eventually pulled it out. That's why when you got a team, on the verge of putting them away, you got to do it. Because if you don't, like what happened last week, can happen. And it was so hot in Miami. Players kept falling, and they were dehydrated, and it was just crazy. So I think Buffalo's going to lose back-to-back games on the road, and I just got to take Lamar and this team. The way Lamar's been spinning the ball, man, I just got to go with the Ravens in this one. How about you?
I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I'm betting on Lamar Jackson myself. Anytime I get a chance to pick him, I'm gonna pick him just because I want to see him win.
Yes, sir.
So for me, that's just on a personal level. But like you said, with the Bills and the whole secondary depleted, um, this ain't the game where you need your secondary to be that way, especially when you got Action Jackson on the other side. So I feel like they're gonna have a good time in Baltimore after this game is over for sure.
Yeah, and the way Lamar's been throwing it deep to Bateman and the other guy from Texas, I forget his name. But yeah, the way he's been throwing deep to them, yeah, this ain't the
Duvernay.
game. Yeah, Duvernay. Yeah, I couldn't think of it. Yeah, Duvernay.
Yeah.
But the way he's been throwing deep to them, man, I would not want to have some missing pieces in my secondary. So yeah, I got to go with Baltimore in that one. The next one, I'm not as confident in my pick, but we have the Los Angeles Chargers visiting the Houston Texans. Uh, the way the Chargers have been playing lately, it hasn't been great. And Joey Bosa is going to be out for a while. He had a groin injury. It's really bad. He's going to have surgery. They lose Slater, their all-star tackle. He's done for the season. Um, man, but I got to take the Chargers here. I don't know how they're going to win this game, but I think they're going to bounce back. They got embarrassed last week at home. Houston has been playing much better this year under Lovie Smith. Their defense is really getting after people. But I just think Justin Herbert finds a way to bounce back this week. I don't know how, but man, I just can't see the Chargers having two back-to-back letdowns, especially since we think this team is going to be, make a deep playoff run. They still got Khalil Mack. They still got a lot of talent. They still have a talented defense. They may have to lean on their defense and make this a low-scoring, ugly game because I don't know if Keenan Allen with that hamstring, if he's going to be ready this week. But I just got the Chargers. I think they're going to find a way to win on the road. How do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers. I think Jay Herbo gonna be back in rare form next week. So definitely, like I said, they gonna get some get back. That's a salty taste in your mouth when you lose a game you know you should have won, and then lose the way that you lose. So yeah, right. So I think they'll come back out and show us why a lot of people had them picked to. Some people had them pick to win their division, and some people had them going pretty far in the playoffs. So I think they'll show us a glimpse of what that looks like. Even though they don't have Bosa, they don't have Slater. Like you said, they got other guys that can step up with Mack and Derwin James and J.C. Jackson and those guys. They got to make some plays. So yeah.
Yeah, and the matchup to watch is O.J. Howard and Derwin James. That's gonna
Derwin James. Yeah.
That's gonna be a really interesting, fun matchup to watch. Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals visiting the Carolina Panthers. This one was fairly easy for me. I had to take the Cardinals. I just have no faith in Baker Mayfield in the Panthers offense. Baker's my guy, but I think they're going to have a hard time trying to contain Kyler Murray. You got to keep him in the pocket because if you let him out the window, bad things can happen. But I think Brown and Greg Dortch, I think they're going to put up numbers again this week. And I think the Cardinals will find a way to win a tough road game. The Panthers, they're going to have to create some turnovers or something because their offense, because of their quarterback, isn't able to score and put up points like other offenses. So their defense, like last week when they got all those turnovers, short fields for the offense, that's what they're going to have to do. The Cardinals don't have the best offensive line, so maybe they can kind of put some pressure on Kyler. But you got to keep him in the box. You can't let him out if you do pressure him. So that'd be something to watch. But I do have the Cardinals winning this one. How do you see this one playing out?
This is tough, man, because you don't know what Arizona team gonna show up. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? You don't know. But I will say I'm leaning towards the Panthers, and I'm gonna tell you why. I feel like they have the defensive personnel to contain Kyler Murray better than some other teams.
Okay.
They got those two fast safeties, those corners. You know what I'm saying? Those safeties they can bring down to the box if they need to. Like you said, the Cardinals' offensive line isn't that great. Their receivers aren't that great, and Carolina has some corners who can be elite when they're at their best. So I think it rides on if Christian McCaffrey is playing. I know he's on the injury report again this week. That can alter a lot of things, but I'm gonna go with the Panthers, and I think Baker's gonna have a big game, man. I think Baker's gonna have a big game, so I like the Panthers.
Yeah, he better know what Buda Baker is at all times because Buda Baker
Baker, yeah,
he's a flying missile.
Yeah.
So the next one, this was probably one of the easier games to pick that I had this week. We got the New England Patriots visiting the Green Bay Packers. We don't know if Mac Jones is going to play this week. I don't care if he was playing this week.
Right.
I'm taking the
The Packers.
Packers. They figured some things out. They have two special running backs, and Aaron Jones and AJ Dillard is just a truck, a Mac truck. He's a load. So they have a nice one-two punch at running back. And as we saw last week, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have his normal weapons receiver. He lost Devontae Adams because Adams was tired of dealing with his mood swings and all of that. So he was getting the ball quick to his receivers. So when they do pass, I think they'll get it out quick. And I think the Packers will lean on their run game, and I think they'll win by at least 14 at home over the Patriots. Even if Mac Jones was playing in this game, this is going to be an easy pick for me. I assume you have the Packers as well.
Yeah, I do. Just kind of off of everything that you said, like you said, he's figuring out what he needs to do to get his guys the ball quicker and just let them make plays, right? You know, you got those quick guys out there, give it to them in space and let them work their magic. Lean on the run game, like you said. That defense is still very elite whenever they show up to play. So that's definitely something to kind of, look into. But I don't know, man. I think the Packers and Aaron Rodgers and Devontae might need to call each other so they can reverse it because it ain't been working out for either person so far. So I think they need to kiss and make up so they can reverse that trade or something because I don't know.
Yeah, I think they said Noah Brown has more receiving yards this season than Devontae Adams. I couldn't believe that. That was shocking. And that's crazy you bring up Devontae Adams because that's our next game that we're going to pick. The Denver Broncos visiting the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders, something just isn't right with them right now. They had all that talent. I thought they were going to be one of the best teams in the league, especially you get a guy like Devontae Adams, who I think is the best receiver in the league. He hasn't shown it this year so far, but he is the best receiver in the league. He just needs to show it. But I took Denver in this game because we saw no matter how ugly the game is, their defense, Chubb and Gregory, they can just really get out to people up front. Surtain in the secondary. I just couldn't pick the Raiders with how they looked this year. I thought they were going to win last week, get things turned around, but they let Derrick Henry go crazy. So maybe Javonte Williams can go crazy for Denver this week. Russ, he's been burning up the groceries so far this year. He hasn't looked great. Looks like they wasted their money so far. Russ hasn't looked great. But they have too much talent on offense. They have a track team of receivers, so they have to get things figured out. But it won't be. Maybe they can figure it out this week against the Raiders. The Raiders don't have that much talent in the secondary, so you can throw the ball on them. So in Russ, I trust this week, and I got the Broncos winning on the road, and I think the Raiders will go to 0-4. How do you see this game playing out?
How Russ said, Bronco country. That's right. I think the Broncos definitely gonna get this out of the way. I just don't trust the Raiders or anything they got going on right now. I don't even see what their direction is. Waller hasn't really been productive this year. Devontae he's had a game or so, but he hasn't really been incorporated in the offense the way that I thought he would. Josh Jacobs has been kind of disappointing as well. Haven't really got much out of that run game. And I think what we don't want to see is the Broncos to figure it out. I think if they figure it out, they're the most outside of maybe the Bills. They're probably the most complete team that I see. From an offensive standpoint and from a defensive standpoint. So it's going to get scary if the Broncos can figure it out, and if Russ kind of can switch it back a little bit. We might be talking about Denver making some noise this year for sure, which we already know they will. They'll make the playoffs and they'll do their thing. But I feel like this is the game where they're gonna find their mojo and start to get on the road.
Yeah, because their game last week almost put me to sleep. All those punts, Lord Jesus. So hopefully they look much better this week. All right, so we got Brady versus Mahomes, part 6. We got the Kansas City Chiefs visiting the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Chiefs shouldn't have lost last week. They had some mistakes that on the road you make those type of mistakes, they're gonna cost you. But I think they'll bounce back this week. Brady and that offense, they just don't look right. He'll get Mike Evans back this week, but that offense, they're really depleted at the receiver position. The offensive line is going through some injuries. And I think Patrick Mahomes, he'll spread it out to all the weapons he has. Without Tyreek, they don't just focus on one guy. They spread it out to everybody. Everybody gets to eat in this offense. But they do miss having a receiver like Tyreek who can take the top off the coverage, because really you can sit on everything short with them, because they don't have a guy who can just you know one play 80 yards. They don't have that anymore. It's going to be longer drives, and they're going to have to work a little harder to get points and stuff like that. But I think the Chiefs will win. Brady in this offense, they're really struggling right now, but their defense will keep them in it, because that defense is elite, top to bottom. The front seven is no joke. And then their secondary, they really get after you, and they're really physical. So this is going to be a great game, but in 15, I trust in Patrick Mahomes. So, uh, yeah, I think this may be the last time they play too. So I think Mahomes wants to go out with a win. How do you see this one playing out, bro?
Use the noise of students walking by. But if you hear something crazy, that's some students, bro. But I like the Bucks. Mike Evans will be back. That defense is still formidable. If I'm not mistaken, is it in Tampa?
Yes, it's in Tampa, so we don't know how the weather's gonna be.
We don't know how the weather's gonna be or where they're gonna be at, but yeah, I like the Bucks. Brady's gonna bounce back. Maybe Julio even be back this week. So I think I'm taking the Bucks in this game. In a close game, in a thriller, like a high scoring thing, I like the Bucks.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a very entertaining game. I can't wait for it. Anytime Brady and Mahomes play, it's must see TV. So our final game to close out the show today, we got the Los Angeles Rams visiting the San Francisco 49ers. I took the Rams here. The 49ers haven't been able to run the ball like they normally want to do, because they lost Elijah Mitchell, unfortunately. They just haven't been able to run the ball the way they want to, and that really sets everything up in their offense. And Trent Williams is not going to be there. So I think Aaron Donald is really going to get after Jimmy G. And hopefully Matthew Stafford doesn't throw to the other team. He's been really awful. At the start of this season, he's been turning the ball over crazy. But the Rams are the better team, and I think they'll go on the road and probably win an ugly, low-scoring, physical defensive struggle. So I got the Rams. How do you see this one playing out?
I like the 49ers.
Okay.
I think they kind of like got the Rams number. Their games always kind of be close and always down to the last minute or so. Jimmy G's going to bounce back from that awful performance that he had last week. Yeah, I like the 49ers in this game. Just strictly off of I just feel like they know what's going on. Like it's kind of like they know the playbook, they know what's going to be coming.
Yeah.
But it's definitely going to be a great game. I think it's going to be low scoring. I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as a lot of people are anticipating. So I like the 49ers 20-17 in that game.
Yeah, the 49ers, they seem to have the Rams number for whatever reason, but they're not able to run the ball like they normally do. So I think that's why I lean towards the Rams. But yeah, this is going to be physical, like always, and I'm really excited about this one. So Q, I want to thank you for joining the show, bro. I'm glad we could get you on here for the first time, and we hope to have you back. Hopefully, you're able to show your face after Sunday. Hopefully we're able to find you, and hopefully we're able to have you back on here, brother.
Hey, appreciate it, brother. Keep doing great things, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. All right. Yeah.